Well, we're on the eastern side of Lake Wyber, just south of Noosa. And this is the setting for the Murdering Creek Massacre. We're just north of the boundary of the northern boundary of the Yandina station. And it's the manager of Yandina station, William Chippendale, who's mentioned in a letter as being the organiser of the Murdering Creek Massacre. Murdering Creek's on the other side of the lake, just sort of beyond the edge of this tree. And we only have one account of the Murdering Creek Massacre. It's written in a letter from William Lowe to David Bull, who was writing some stories about the history of Tewantin and this area. And we have no accounts from the time when it happened. A little bit of oral history, but this written account at the end of 1944 is the only description of the massacre. But I can read you a little bit of the letter if you like. Mr. Chippendale was the manager of the Yandina station, and the blacks were very troublesome, killing his cattle. In fact, Chippendale's life was never safe. He never went on the run without a revolver with him. So Chippendale organised a party of 8 of his hands. The party went down to the reserve at the mouth of the creek, that's over there, and one of the party came walking down the sand on the edge of the lake, dressed as a traveller, while the others were planted in the bushes. The blacks were camped on the other side of the lake at Hilton. That's over just behind me, that hillside behind me. As soon as they saw the man going down the lake, the blacks up with spears and waddies, and across they came in their canoes, which were made out of a sheet of bark tied at each end with vines. And when they got about 50 yards from the mouth of the creek, out stepped the other 7 men and fired on the blacks. As far as I could hear, very few of the blacks got away. They tumbled out into the water. So that is how the name came, Murdering Creek. But in our research, we have come across a note in the Gympie Times from the 5th of May 1869, and it's describing a little bit of the circumstances in 1869. The blacks have lately been spearing cattle in the most wanton manner on the Yandina run, and unless checked at once, will be emboldened by impunity and commit more serious crimes. It would not be creditable to the executive were such a state of things allowed to continue in the main road between Brisbane and Gympie. This Gympie Times notice does appear to be a kind of notice that there's a problem and that it might be solved in the unspoken conventions of the time.